From reaching trail to the Great March, from the aging ocean to the endless sea, from Fisherman's Row to Godcroft's, live from Studio A in PressCorps World Headquarters, this is Foxhole Flash, bringing you the latest news from across the Siva Valley war zone.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening. For the PressCorps, I'm Geoffrey Jennings. We have here with us not with us, but calling in, PressCorps Colonial correspondent Moth B. Mann, reporting live from LOCH. Moth, how are you doing? Where exactly are you in the region?
We are just, where are we? East, outside of the town of Feirmor. It seems that the Wardens for the past couple of days have been advancing steadily across this front. Having taken the town of Feirmor in recent days, it appears that the Colonial Legion are on the back foot here trying to stop the Wardens from advancing. But for the current situation, it appears that that has not come to fruition. The Legion are desperately trying to hold on to their position at this moment. From what I can see at this point, it appears that the Legion are attempting to hold their own at this point. It's a mess, frankly, Geoffrey.
Right. Well, you need to stop the bleeding before you can let it heal. So I'm guessing that's what the Colonials are trying to do right now.
That's what it looks like. A lot of the logistics movements have been rediverted to this small fob just outside of Feirmor, where most of the operations have taken place. In fact, as I was walking to this position, I saw nothing but engineers digging trenches and battlements, preparing for an extended defensive operation should this position fall. And the Wardens at this point are pushing with engineers and infantry and ACs at this point, and it does not look good for the Legion. They do not have any significant support at this time.
Now, for some context, Feirmor was captured. The town was captured on day, I believe, 103. It is now day 106, and the Wardens do not appear to be letting go of it anytime soon. Can you describe, I should say, did you manage to see any eyes on the fall of Feirmor?
I unfortunately was not there. I had been at that location a day before the place fell, and the Wardens at that point were staging river crossings to the south of Feirmor, pushing towards the Royal Fort, which is apparently where they attempted to dig in and destroy that town hall so that they could actually get a foothold in this side of the river. It appears they were successful, and since then there's been nothing but partisan attacks picking away at the Colonial defensive lines. And for the moment, since they have captured the area, it seems that they are now digging in with everything they've got. Actually, a few hours ago, the Wardens just had a freighter arrive at the port to the north of this particular sector, next to the River Mersey, and they are right now currently unloading supplies to the front line.
Well, that's certainly going to be a boost indeed. Have you spotted any Warden armored forces supplementing the infantry?
Yes, there is indeed at least two, from what I can count, armored cars that have shown up from time to time here, harassing the front line to ensure that the Wardens can push with their infantry and the engineers can come up right behind them and build to establish a further hold in this region. And it seems that they are doing so with impunity at this point because the Legion does not seem to have any means of stopping it.
Now, by your judgment, how have the Colonials been effective at countering these fast attack armored vehicles? I know AT rifles, anti-tank rifles, have been deployed to the war, but have they been used at all in the fight near you?
Yes, actually, as a matter of fact, that seems to be the only thing that the Legion has going for it, is a shipment of AT rifles just arrived as soon as I showed up on the scene. It was in the same supply truck I was riding in on. They've already been deployed to good use in this front line, keeping the ACs at bay for the moment. But time will only tell if there's going to be enough supplies coming from the Deadlands to keep this defensive posture going.
And what's the temperament of the colonials you're embedded with at the current moment? How confident are they, either from what you've talked to already or someone we might talk to soon? How confident are you? Are they, I should say? How confident are they that they'll be able to hold the line?
It appears that some of them, it's kind of a mixed bag of overwhelming confidence and a lot of firm-browed analysis. So there is a mix between the lower ranks who are pretty frustrated at the loss of Feirmor, and there are some officers here that seem to be pretty confident in their abilities to take the town back, but it doesn't look like they're meshing very well with each other.
I see. And have you spotted any concerted regimental forces working together, or is everyone there on either side, or does it seem both sides are more or less unaffiliated troops?
It appears that there are some members of the UBGE and 1CMD and LOCH are in the sector, but they're not really working together in a concerted fashion. They seem to be kind of once again, a mixed bag of guys who have just reacted to the fact that they've lost Feirmor and are now trying to plug the hole.
I see, and of course, full context, we of course do not have any access to any of those ongoing operations, and I'm sure they wouldn't want us in those radio discussions right now, considering we're live. But from what you can see, not a lot of interregimental synergy and cooperation, at least on the surface, and none you can see for the Wardens either, I'm assuming.
That's correct, Geoffrey.
Right, and I should say unincorporated troops. I guess they're definitely affiliated with the respective colonials and Wardens, but I guess the proper term is unincorporated. I'm not quite sure. Things get clicky out there, but regardless, how confident do you, by your judgment, and again we can't leak anything here live on the radio, but by your judgment, how effective do you think the colonials can contain the Wardens to LOCH? In other words, can they stop any pushes into Heartlands and Umber Wildwood?
I'll be honest, Geoffrey. I've seen my share of wars, and I've participated in my share of wars, and I don't believe that the Legion has the right tools for the job right now. I think it's very easy to come to the conclusion that they can if they have the right amount of firepower and skill, but at the moment it appears that this mixed bag of reactionary troops are just frankly twisting in the wind. I don't think there's really anything stopping them, the Wardens, from pushing into Umber Wildwood, with the exception of bodies, and that's frankly all the Legion kind of needs at this point, is just bodies to stem the bleeding.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see how that changes, if that changes, by the time heavier armor deploys. But for now, I think I'd have to be in agreement with you, considering this continuing Warden offensive into the central regions. Deadlands 2, kind of, if you zoom all the way out onto the greater strategic map as a whole, it seems the Wardens are pushing, moving at a pincer into the colonial central positions in Deadlands and LOCH. And
that's correct, Geoffrey. From my analysis, it appears that the Wardens are attempting to cut off the Deadlands from any resupply, and they are doing so by trying to take the adjacent sectors of LOCH and Marvin Hollow. Marvin Hollow specifically being a primary point of defense for the Legion. For the loss of it would actually open up more avenues of attack for the Wardens to exploit on the flanks of the Legion's offensive here. For the time being, though, it appears that combat is being centralized in the Deadlands. LOCH and Marvin Hollow, specifically the town of Maiden's Vale there, which I had done a report on a few days prior. It appears to have stabilized somewhat, but it doesn't look like the Legion there are going to be taking the Spit Rocks anytime soon. So for the moment, it's kind of a tenuous will they won't they moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, some hope for the Colonials, at least for now, in terms of Callahan's boot in the Deadlands. I know you're not there right now, Moth, but to our listeners, it does seem that the Colonials are fighting back, at least for the moment, and certainly they are in Lochmore as well. But yes, in terms of momentum here, we've seen in the past 25 or so days, it's been a Warden onslaught for sure. If the Colonials can flip the script once again, maybe relock down the central regions, we'll just have to wait and see. Moth, did you have anything else for us?
Not at the moment, Geoffrey, no.
Well, incredible work. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all you're doing out there on the front lines for the PressCorps. That's Moth B. Mann reporting live at Lochmore. Thank you, Moth.
You're very welcome.